Hello everyone, my name is Katina Richardson. I want to introduce you to my interpersonal communication skills class that I'm currently taking at Liberty University. It's a 508 class. I'm pursuing a degree in marriage and family counseling, so this is one of the requirements for the classes. So let me give you a little bit of information about myself. I currently work for one of the local sheriff's offices in my area, and I deal a lot with offenders and returning citizens is what we like to call them. So this class, as far as communication, skill set, things of that nature, was definitely beneficial to my case management with the offenders that I deal with on a day-to-day basis. Um, a brief overview of my future goals and aspirations. I want to be a licensed professional counselor. Originally, I wanted to specialize in marriage and family. However, I don't want to limit myself and be structured in a box pretty much. So I decided to pursue the current degree that I'm going to school for now. But however, once this is finished, I plan to pursue another degree with Liberty, but in professional counseling. I want to have a concentration in trauma and mental health, being that a majority of my clients that I deal with, those are the issues that they struggle with. So seeing that on a day-to-day basis, it's just very eye opener for me, I would say. Um, Trauma, mental health, they kind of both go hand in hand almost with one another. And from the naked eye, people would say, oh, this person is crazy, that person is not mentally stable, in a joking manner. However, it's not. I take it very seriously and I have a passion for it. So that's why I'm currently pursuing, well, I will be pursuing a degree in licensed professional counseling. A little background about the course. It's an 8-week course. And a few of the items that we had to, excuse me, a few of the items that we had to, course requirement items was Why Don't We Listen Better by Peterson, um, Bridges, Bridges Not Walls, a book about interpersonal communication by Stewart, and Listening the Forgotten Skill by Burley Allen. I enjoyed all these books. However, my favorites would probably be Why Don't We Listen Better. I've learned so much about paraphrasing, acknowledging how your emotions, your head, your heart, like how you basically interact with people based off those things. Something that you probably would never even realize. That book was very enlightening, and I plan on kind of incorporating it in my day-to-day schedule, whether it's with clients, friends, family, whomever. So I really enjoyed that book. The other two were great as well. And Bridges Not Walls. What I picked up pretty much from that book was nonverbal communication. That's my area of weakness. Facial expressions, things of that nature, being silent, using it in a negative aspect, things like that. I'm a very gesture person, I would say. So I talk with my hands a lot. Um, and sometimes when I'm working with clients that are suffering from trauma and mental health, it can come off kind of aggressive. So I'm kind of learning how to deal with that in an appropriate manner. As far as nonverbal communication, um, I do good with eye contact, but my facial expression shows a lot. So whether I'm displeased, angry, happy, confused, you name it, I kind of express that. And that's not the best thing when working with clients. If you're confused or if something that you personally don't agree with, I don't want to, be the person that it shows on my face. So those are the areas that I'm working with based on the things that I've learned. In addition to those 3 books and some of the skills that I picked up from it, we also saw the movie called Fireproof. If you guys haven't seen it, and whether you're struggling through marriage, you're trying to find a closer relationship with God, to connect with your wife, or just basically a relationship, it was a very good movie, and I recommend it for everyone. Some of the things that you learned in there about spirals, things like that. Um, it was a movie based off of marriage. One of the husbands suffered from a porn addiction. They just kind of fell off over the years and lost the love that they had. But overall, it was a good book, and it's definitely inspiring. So I recommend it to everybody. In addition to that, we had to do a behavioral blend assessment, and it was called DISC. D stands for active task oriented, I stands for active people oriented, S stands for passive people oriented, and C stands for passive task oriented. So we did it was a bit like a survey almost. They asked a series of questions, we answered it to the best of our ability, and it basically scored us. As far as what is expected of me, I scored high in the S area, and it stated steady specialist. So some of the things that they went over as an S type, you think people you to be more sensitive and submissive. You like blending with the crowd because you feel free. The others want you to still be still and quiet. You're very loyal to your family and friends. Humanity, you're not very confrontational, and you're pretty much easygoing. So that's what is expected of me based off of the results from the assessment that we completed. So that was I agree with it to a certain extent. People do expect me to be less confrontational, more of a listener, more sympathetic, which I definitely am. So that kind of played hand in hand with each other. But as far as some of the information, your feelings and thinkings of what is expected of me, I often feel inadequate and unworthy. I didn't necessarily agree with that, but it was an assessment, so I just went with it. Um, in addition to that, we had what is me basically. And my results for that for my behavioral blend was inspiring, driving, and submissive. And I completely agree with all of those. I'm a I'm definitely probably one of the most inspiring people that you will ever meet. Submissive to a certain extent, and driving, I'm very motivated and things of that nature. So I felt like that was pretty accurate. Some of my feelings, I tend to feel comfortable leading a group, which is true sometimes. Speaking in a crowd or working quietly and supporting others behind the scene. Overall, I would say I'm a more behind the scene person. Um, I'm not the best public speaker whatsoever. So those are some areas that I also need to work on. However, when working with clients, giving them information or doing a group session about resumes or appropriate interview attire, things of that nature, I do pretty well with it, I think. But the more lecture, standing in front of a crowd, that's not one of my expertise. Um, some other areas, as far as conflict management, I would probably be considered the peacemaker, which is true. It definitely relates to my day to day attitude. I hate confrontation. I'm one of those people where we kind of agree to disagree and keep it moving, and no ill will, ill feelings, things of that nature. So that was definitely true. And as far as my conclusion for this is me, you have so much going for you. You can be decisive, determined, inspiring, impressing, submissive, and sweet. You can be both hard and soft on people, which is definitely true. Working with the population, I have to be, friendly, but that firm, fair, and consistency as well. So that's definitely true. Some of the communication barriers that were mentioned at the end of the assessment was my indecisiveness, um, patience, formal and concisiveness, and organized and follows through a plan. Those are definitely some things I need to work on personally and professionally. I'm a very indecisive person. I've rarely I'm rarely able to make certain decisions. As far as concisiveness, sometimes I can be too wordy and it can come off a little confusing. And I'm not the most organized person whatsoever. What I may consider organized is not organized to a typical person, but I'm working on that. As I stated before, the things that I learned more from this course was definitely why don't we listen better, and some of the things that I plan on doing while I'm a future counselor and in my day-to-day life is acknowledging, parafeeling, working on my nonverbal and communication skills. One of the things that it mentions in the book was talking about language as an activity and a perception, and that's definitely true. The way people perceive you is based on your interaction through the words, behavior, nonverbal, verbal communication, things of that nature. So that was definitely informing. Overall, my conclusion would be is I want to be the change that I see in the world. I want to be respectful. I want to be trustworthy. I want to be a great listener. I want my clients to feel like they can come to me with any and everything and I won't be judgmental. I want to be able to be reliable yet professional and have those boundaries drawn in place when need be. That wraps it up for me. Thank you guys for listening and tune in for more. Bye bye.